I've come to realize how important a sense of safety is. The word safety, I use it quite a lot lately, and I use it with my daughter a lot when she's playing with the cat and kind of being a little rough. I repeatedly say, listen, this is our cat and she needs to feel safe in our home. And with Mesa, I also try to always create a sense of safety for her. And that can look like holding space for her emotions when she's crying or frustrated and trying to remain calm. Doesn't always happen. I can also shut down or freeze sometimes and tune out. I'm not one to yell, but shutting down and tuning out is also an unhealthy way to deal with uncomfortable emotions. And so I take a breath, I try to ground in the moment and realize what's happening is that I'm shutting down, disassociating, not being present with her while she's having a hard time. And just coming present, realizing that she needs me to be present so that she can work through her emotions, and I need to not move into a space of discomfort because she's uncomfortable. And that's a work in progress, but some days it feels like I'm really making progress, like right now as I can reflect on it, and other days it doesn't feel like that. So I suppose that makes sense. For my own self, restoring a sense of safety, that those words really ring true. But as I worked through the process of restoring a sense of safety in my body and in my mind and in my emotions, well, it's not really the wording I use, but that's exactly what I was doing. Because when I have panic attacks, that's pretty obvious, but even general sense of anxiety, depressive behaviors, withdrawal, etc., all those reactions are because I didn't feel safe, because I felt overwhelmed or alone. There was an absence of safety. And restoring a sense of safety has to do with, I think, building the resiliency of your nervous system so that when you enter into either the stressed state or depressed state of the nervous system, when that's activated, that you can easily move back into that safe space, the space of social engagement that's called in polyvagal theory. And that can be done through somatic therapies, talk therapy, self-care practices, and it's really just if you're unregulated, if you've learned to be unregulated, your nervous system, it's a lifelong process of relearning that, I think. At least it has been for me. I suppose it could be shorter, but I think, at least in my case, I had to be dysregulated for a really long time before I finally realized I've had a fucking enough of this. And then when I realized, I had enough, there's the back and forth between trying to be healthy and then falling back into those shitty habits. There's like this oscillation or this pendulation back and forth. At first, it was the back and forth between my stress state or depressed state, a dysregulated state, and my coping mechanisms or strategies. And then as I started to learn different techniques to handle stress that are more healthy and less harmful, I would pendulate kind of, if you can picture the stress state on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, at the top, you have the coping mechanisms, and at the bottom, you have the healthy new strategy. So I pendulate between those uncomfortable feelings to the left, and then swing up to the right and get drunk. Swing back to the left in sobriety and still feel like shit, and then swing back to the right and have a healthy coping mechanism that may have been going for a run or a walk, whatever those more healthy choices may have been. And slowly but surely there is more healthy options and less of those coping strategies. And that is what helps to create this more resilient nervous system. And so over time, the things that would overwhelm you, something that may have overwhelmed you 5 years ago or even 2 days ago, there's no real timeline, but something that would have really overwhelmed you to a point of a panic attack, say, the intensity would be maybe only mild anxiety, because you've been working on these healthy things that, and it's not just like, that's a long-term thing. It's not just for instance, drinking is a temporary relief, unless you're drunk all the time. So, there is that. For me, it was a temporary relief. The high of the drunk that you would get, because after it gets depressing, obviously. But that's a temporary relief with worse long-term side effects. I would feel like shit for days and days, and then I feel better, and then I'd be like, oh, let's party again. Whereas with more healthy choices, such as, exercise, breath work, meditation, that builds up over time and is long-lasting if you continuously do it. If you continuously drink, you just get worse. So when you start doing those more healthy things, that builds up over time, and that helps your nervous system to become more resilient. Add in that some reflection, some journaling. For me specifically, has always been an outlet for me to release and manage my emotions and inner turmoil and feelings. More recently, I benefit from talk therapy that had a somatic component. So the practitioner was very experienced in somatic experiencing. And so that really resonated with me. And so I found a therapist that worked. I think that's very key. You have to keep searching for the one that is right for you, and not just go with whoever. I did that once, and I tried. I was like, it's not for me, but it was more that the therapist wasn't for me. And probably I wasn't ready, because you got to really be ready for therapy, I think. And on that note, because there's a two-pronged thing here, therapy is very important, I think, and I think everyone can benefit from it with the right therapist for them. But if you don't have the community support, like an intentional supportive community to carry you on, to be there outside of therapy, either outside of therapy while you're doing it, or after your therapy sessions you feel are done and you no longer feel you need to see that person. And for me, I would have loved to continue to, but money comes into this, and so to have an intentional community that is focused on sharing and introspection and reflection and rest, I think is fundamental in continuing to heal and learn new and process. For me, it's been really great to have a group of women that fulfill this role for me, because as I said, journaling has always been my outlet, and I've had a hard time verbally expressing my emotions, and so that has limited me in showing up authentically. But the practice of speaking to a therapist and speaking my truth and my feelings without any judgment and in a safe space to others has really been transformational, and for me to be able to voice, like, even the things that I'm saying now in these podcasts and how I show up every day, just giving me a voice again. And that's what's so empowering about it, because journaling I still do, I still need, I still love, but it's introspection alone. And there's just a difference, obviously, with another to hold the space for you rather than you having to hold it for yourself, or an inanimate object holding it for you. So that was about, I know I probably said I probably got off track, but the restoring a sense of safety is about, that whole spiel is about building the resiliency of your nervous system. And I think the second thing that's coming up here is to be able to have healthy boundaries, to enforce them and maintain them physically, emotionally, energetically, and mentally, because if boundaries are continually crossed, that is threatening, that is harmful. And so becoming aware of where people are overstepping your boundaries, or how you fail to implement them for yourself, is also fundamental in restoring a sense of safety. And in restoring a sense of safety, this also replenishes your energy, protects your energy, revitalizes you. So much of our things that we do, deplete our energy. And so the healthy things we do to support our nervous system, and the healthy ways we enforce and maintain our boundaries, are two ways to protect your energy and revitalize your vitality, or that life force within you, so that you can show up and feel good, right? Energized. You can show up and meet the day. You can show up as yourself. So, yeah, restoring a sense of safety. I really dig this term. And I hope you have too, now that I've kind of went off on it a little bit. If this has resonated with you, please subscribe, like, share, or comment, and let me know. Thank you so much. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye-bye.